Hello friends, if you don't know, we are IRL cards located in Tucson, Arizona, and we have Lorcana tournaments every single Wednesday, and this is the deck that won last Wednesday.
All right, we're here with Tyler today. He's got his 3-0 undefeated list for our Lorcana locals for our final month for our Lorcana League events. Was able to win some of the special pin prizing with this list. What are you working with today, Tyler?
So I got Amber and Steel.
Doing some song stuff?
Yep, mainly singing.
Sweet, let's see what the deck looks like.
Yes, playing pretty standard package. Lilo, best card of the deck.
Yeah.
We got the Stitch, a lot of one costs. Mix up a lot of one cost characters.
Yeah.
To start with, I have some strange ratios here.
Yeah. 2 Simba, 3
2
Goons.
Simba, 3 Goons. I probably just bring it up to 3 Goons and 3 Erics, but I just want to kind of see Simba every once in a while.
Sure.
Just to fix my hand and try to search out for some of those big impact songs.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of my low cost Simba's major player, Simba with Lilo. It's just a really great combo to have.
Yeah.
That won me a lot, just being able to bring out Lilo early and quest for a lot.
Yeah, it's really, really hard to beat that combo. You have to basically be an exactly steal, and even then, some hands don't beat it.
Yeah, so then we have a 4 tank. I mainly just play the set 4 just so I can start boosting up my my inking with her, so I'd ink her very often at the beginning. And then I would argue probably after Lilo, best card on the deck would be Ariel, because this is a very song-based deck. I wanted to see her all the time, and I would always bring her back as often as I could just so I can constantly be singing songs for essentially free.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Ariel's not 2 mana to go with the next card we're about to see. She's incredible by herself, though.
Yeah. So I have a Stitch here. He's another really great card. I would probably boost him up to 4.
I was just gonna say only 3 feels
Yeah.
like you might not be seeing it as much as you want. Like you're probably gonna be seeing 1, but once he gets killed, you might not be seeing the second one.
Yeah, well, I mean, with a song I play, I usually was able to bring him back and
For sure, yeah,
be
that's
able
fair.
to occasionally play with this. Another really great card is the Tinkerbell, obviously.
Big Tinkerbell, yeah.
Being able to do damage and kind of go from there. I'm playing 2 Lantern, just mainly because I didn't really care once I got to mid-game. I didn't really care about having very much lore.
Yeah.
A lot of times I was sitting at about 4 or 5 lore for the whole entire game. So
Yeah, I see a lot of people bumping up their Lantern count in this style deck to 3 or maybe 4, just so you can get the nuts turn of Stitch on 1, Lantern on 2, Big Stitch on 3. Were you finding that line fairly often, or were you finding that you want consistency with other cards in deck over the 3rd or 4th Lantern?
I was having a hard
fairly
time.
redundant.
Having a hard time finding questable cards, so
Sure.
I didn't really want to, get my hand clogged up, especially at
stuff
the
to
end
ink
there,
out.
going to endgame. Having 3 lanterns was
Yeah.
really a big deal. I didn't have a hard time, and I was also trying to play around getting knocked out by Grab Your Sword.
Sure.
I was having a hard time with that too, so if I really invested in a lot of low cost cards, it was just getting wiped out pretty quick. So
Yeah, Prince Eric with his 3 health is very nice for exactly that card, which
Yeah.
normally tears this deck apart.
Yeah. Obviously, Force Smash, really great card. Able to take care of any of those big problem cards like Facilier or another Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
And then the rest of my deck is just songs. So playing 4 New World.
4 Whole New World.
It was good. I did have a hard time though against a few Inkwell decks where I didn't really want to give them more advantage. So I kind of had it held in my hand because giving them a +5, and then they kind of snowballed from there. So
Yeah, it can be
I
a
kind
little
of
rough.
clogged up my hand, but at the same time I was threatening some deck outs with it as well. So it
That's
kinda helped with
interesting,
that.
sure.
Be Our Guest, just digging in, just trying to find those playable cards.
Yeah. Also works incredible with Simba. Even if your opponent does something to stop him from questing and all those annoying green decks, you can still get him tapped down by singing with Be Our Guest, which is really, really nice.
Absolutely. And then one card I don't see a lot of people playing is Part of Your World.
You're on 4 of it.
I do run 4 of it, and it was just able to just recycle everything. It's what allowed me to clear a bunch of stuff, bring back the Tinkerbells or getting the Stitches to threaten those end game kind of positions to be able to grab the win was really important with this, as well as just bringing back Ariel and continually going through my
Moving
deck to
her.
find everything.
Yeah.
And then Grab Your Sword at 4 for the end, just able to wipe out any of those small pesky cards that just fill up the board. So.
Yeah, it sounded like you were talking about a little bit. One of the first jump out problems I'm seeing with this deck potentially could be the lack of inkables between the 4. Almost all those songs are uninkable. Lilo's uninkable.
Yep.
You've got like a lot of your other good 1 and 2 drops are inkable, but seems like if you're not really going to very high mana count, which it sounds like you weren't, then maybe the uninkable isn't as much of a problem.
Yeah, most of my games I stopped at around 5 or 6 inks.
Yeah,
so
that's where you're capping out anyway, so
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So I didn't really care too much about that, and then it was just essentially just controlling the board and outmaneuvering my opponents. So
Yeah, this feels like it's one of the few decks that can really afford to not play the Fire the Cannons and Hook package in Steel, because you're already running so many uninkables, you can't really afford them.
Yeah.
And with the availability of not only being able to basically tutor for Grab Your Sword, as well as sing it quite early, it doesn't feel as bad not running those pretty quintessential Steel cards at this point.
Yeah, and you're always threatening things. Your opponent doesn't really know what you have, so they always had to take care of the Ariels because you're always threatening to grab your sword or the whole new world.
One. Yeah, either a board wipe or a reset, so they can't keep too many things in hand to play around Grab Your Sword, or else they fall to Whole New World. They can't commit too many things to the board to play around Whole New World, or else they fall to Grab Your Sword.
Yeah.
It's a really nice little combo, how it forces your opponent into really weird play patterns. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Was there any matchups that you felt were harder than others? You did go 3-0 today, so clearly nothing was too hard for you. But is there any? It sounded like some of those ramp decks might be giving you a little bit of trouble.
It was more or less that those decks made me have to not really play a Whole New World. I don't have a side deck, so there's not really a way for me to take those out and put somebody else that's a little more helpful in there.
Yeah, and them being uninkable means they don't have really
Yeah.
a backup game plan if you do find a bad matchup.
Yeah. As for difficulty, major difficulty I had was just maybe time constraints a little bit at the end there. All my games really went quite a long time. So
Do you feel like that's maybe a slight inexperience with the deck of being able to play quickly, or if on your opponent's end, or does it just feel like this deck is kind of a grindier deck, able to take it long and wants to take it long?
well, this is the first term I played with this particular deck. Before so I was playing the Amber and Emerald deck. So this deck's a little bit more of a learning curve for me, but at the same time, it is a lot more grindy. That you're not rushing any questing. You're kind of just threatening your opponent with all the songs and out resourcing them.
Yeah, sounds like the mill game plan came up at least once. Have you found yourself really playing for that Whole New World mill condition? Something like a Steel Emerald deck would be really playing for?
No, it was mainly just situational because my opponent was playing the purple, the Amethyst deck, and was drawing a bunch. So they were drawing a ton and discarding, and I went through 3 of my Whole New Worlds. They were at the very end there, and I could have dropped the last one, but there was no need for it because we were pretty much at the end anyways. So
yeah, listen, don't need to overextend if you already have it in the bag. Yeah, thank you so much, Tyler, for showing us off this deck. This is a deck that I really, really like as well. One of the kind of underground decks that is kind of popping up in this. After about a month of the meta being established, this deck looks really, really competent, especially with some of the new spoilers we've got so far for Rise of the Floodborn, the second set. This deck looks like it is definitely one on the rise. Some new support for this deck coming in really hot in the next set. Looks to be very exciting. Have you been enjoying Lorcana so far?
I love it. Yeah, I'm just really big Disney fan, so any card game that has Disney in it, I'm all about that. So
sounds good. Well, if you guys like this video, please stay tuned to the channel. We got plenty more of these style of videos coming to you. More deck tech breakdowns, pack openings for Lorcana, and other trading card games that we focus on here on the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.